Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Menteri Rangba Kejela Konrad ke Sangma Habujubab ya kejingkali balabu do MLA ke Raja Bala constituency Dr. Mizanur Kazi halor kejingdan ke Anganwadi Center bat kanu teli kidai ki permanen. Ulai itu babaro akidan Henry Spa Henry Pundri teli ki Anganwadi Center ki Treikam ne ki Ïing ki ba Shuwai ne ki Ïing ki ba penon kam shipor. Menteri Rangba ulai itu ru ba kejingtai ya ki Anganwadi Center da kajia Trailang bat katanat CNRD hak bagi lachna ye ki Ïing ki batamai berkentiu ye gitu ki Anganwadi Center ki bahap hapo kajipet jang kami gahalia Early Childhood Development Mission. Susu ulai thuru bagi Anganwadi kila penpiang ye ki jimpam bataimet na kabenta arpusan sengi hak si banai. Kaba kentup ye kajing ai ye kajing bam kaba khut na kabenta ki khana ki ba lai hadu Jerusalem. Nangta kajing ai ye kajing bam banra Ïing na kabenta ki khana ki ba Henry banai hadu lai Islam.
So reply to start question 4. A, sir. So there are 666 number of Anganwadi centers operated from rented or temporary buildings. B, sir, construction of Anganwadi centers is being taken up in convergence with CNRD for construction of new buildings. Upgradation of Anganwadi centers is being taken up under Meghalaya Early Childhood Development Mission. C, sir, under the Anganwadi Services Supplementary Nutrition Mission program, is being provided for 25 days in a month. It consists of two main components. Number one, hot cooked meal. It is prepared and served at the Anganwadi center by the Anganwadi workers for children under the age group of 3 and 6. 2, take-home ration. It is provided once a week for children from 6 months to 3 years, pregnant nursing mothers and adolescents. And the state government has also recently taken initiative to expand and enhance the provisions of the hot cooked meal twice a week, and eggs will soon be provided.
Your supplementary, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank Honorable Chief Minister, sir, for his reply. And through you, I would like to know from the Honorable Chief Minister that how many Anganwadi centers operate from rented or temporary buildings under Salsala CDPO, and how many of them have proper kitchen and toilet facilities?
Sir, this breakup I don't have. It's a very, very specific detail he's asking. So I won't have that reply with me under the Salsala CDPO, how many are there. But as I mentioned, sir, there are 666 total. We have total number of 6,188 Anganwadi centers, and 5,522 are either owned by the community or owned by the government, but 666 of them are operating from a rented and temporary building. I do not have the numbers of specifically Salsala CDPO, but I can provide it to the honorable member. But I can inform the House that out of the 6,188, the water supply is there in 1,271, and the toilets are there in 561. Okay. I got the reply now. So I can tell you that in Salsala, there are 299, and owned are 211, and rented buildings are 27.
Speaker, sir, in my question, I asked whether all these rented or government buildings, whether all of them have a kitchen facility.
Sir, specifically kitchens, rooms, the details are not there, sir. But in all of these Anganwadi centers, since the hot cooked meal is being provided in the Anganwadi centers, so there is a cooking place. And so the definition of kitchen, if it means a cooking space where the food can be cooked, if that is a definition, then yes, there is a space to cook food But if there is a separate building for kitchen, so that detailed information is not there. But as I said, since we are already have mentioned in the reply that we are providing hot cooked meal, therefore the facility to cook the food and prepare the food is there in the Anganwadi centers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, why I asked specifically about the kitchen is, as serving the hot cooked food is the most important part of providing nutrition to the children. So it is a very important thing that all the Anganwadi centers do have a functional kitchen. So I would, through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would request the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, to kindly have a look that all the Anganwadi centers across the state should have a permanent kitchen facility. And again, Mr. Speaker, sir, through you, my second supplementary question would be, as I could see during the course of his reply from the Honorable Chief Minister that construction of Anganwadi centers is being taken up. So, whether there is any time-bound plan of completion of these buildings, and if yes, what is the time frame that these rented or temporary Anganwadi buildings will be government-owned?
So just to clarify to the honorable member and to the House, that these are two separate issues, so that people understand very clearly, sir. So the rented and the temporary buildings is one issue, and construction of Anganwadi centers in government or community-owned locations is a second issue. So they're not the same. Now let me clarify, sir. In terms of the rented buildings and the temporary locations that we have, the reason that we had to go ahead with those temporary locations is because we did not find land. This could mostly be in urban areas where it is very difficult to find land, and hence where temporary buildings are being used and we are paying rent for those, sir. So therefore, there the investments are not being made to construct a new building, but wherever repair is required, since it is not a government-owned asset, nor is it community-owned, there is obviously not investment made by us in the manner in which we are making in the other locations. So part B is that now there are still, out of the 6,188 centers, so there are 2,148 48 centers where the new building construction and renovation is taking place. Out of these 2,148, 1,670 have already been completed. And the rest that is left, we will be adding and we will be completing them very shortly, sir. This project, in fact, approximately about 83 crores has been sanctioned for this. And you'll be happy to know, sir, that this money is coming from externally aided projects. So this is an early childhood development project, and we are using the funds from there in convergence with MG and REGS. So the material component is coming from the early childhood development, and the other manpower and the other aspects are coming in from the MG and REGS, and we are converging. So it's a very efficient way of actually implementing. And as I said, we have completed 1,670. And very shortly, sir, we should be able to complete the rest of the 2,148. And I again reiterate, sir, this is not for the buildings that are on rent. So the 666 ones which are under rented, so they are owned by somebody else. Government is not spending money to improve that infrastructure. But as I said, as and when required, if there is a need, we talk to the concerned tenant, the landlord who owns the building, and we figure out how to improve it. And main reason why we're not getting space there is because there's no land, sir. And in most of the cases, it is in urban areas, and there's a huge challenge for government to buy land, and community also in those areas is not having land. So that is a kind of fix we are in. But as I said, we are working on that. I'm sorry, just stand corrected, sir. We had I said 83 crores. It's 64 crores, sir. So 64 crores has been spent on it. And 83 crores is the total budget additional. So the rest of the money will be used for the rest of the upgradation that is going on.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as a representative, we get numerous complaints regarding the quality and the timely supply of nutrition to the children. So, may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, what are the mechanisms that are in place to monitor the quality of food that is supplied and the timely supply of the nutrition?
Sir, these checks are being done on a very, very regular basis. The exact numbers I don't have with me of how many have been done in the past few months. But sir, it's like an aspect of the social audit itself. So it is very much part of that, sir, and we look into all these aspects, the quality of the food, the timely implementation of it, and timely distribution. All of these are being regularly monitored by us as department. And if there is any specific issue, because it's a large network, sir, as I said, we have 6,188 Anganwadi centers. So definitely there could be, areas where there could be concerns. We don't shy away from that. But what is important is for us to take the corrective measures once that happens. So I'll be happy if all the honorable members, if you have any concerns in your specific areas, then we will ensure that we take necessary action. But as I said, from the department side, and the government side, sir, regular checks are being done to ensure that the quality is maintained.
Speaker, sir, I thank Honorable Chief Minister, sir, for his assurance, and through you, I would like to know from the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, the status of implementation of schemes such as Poshan Abhiyan and Saksham Anganwadi in the state, particularly in reference to rural areas, and whether these schemes have been able to decrease the malnutrition rates in the state.
Yes, sir. All these schemes today are being implemented at the grassroots level, and I'm happy that the honourable member has raised this issue. So the House will be happy to know that the figures as per the NFHS that came out recently, the percentage of stunted children in the last under 5 in the last 3 years, sir, has gone down by more than 10%, sir. So it was 46.5% and now it's at 36%. So definitely we are seeing a huge improvement, and this is, as I said, the NFHS data. So the impact of what we are doing today, the different schemes being implemented and implemented well, and being audited and being ensured that all monitoring systems takes place, there is a very, very positive response. But obviously, sir, we are not happy just with these numbers. We want this to be at zero, and therefore we have come out with a very, very special program and a scheme called the 1,000 Days Program, which monitors the child's health from conception to the point where child is, at 2 years old. So there are specific interventions that we have programmed for the child's health at every stage. And apart from what Government of India and the existing schemes are giving, we have decided to go for additional interventions to ensure that we bring these numbers down to zero, sir. So therefore, there's a lot of focus on this. This is maybe one of the major targets and missions of our government, because stunting and malnutrition, SAM and mal children, is something that is of great concern to us, and we're ensuring that that this number comes down, sir.
Sir, Speaker, sir, through you, my last supplementary would be from the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, that how many children in the group of 0 to 6 years have been found severely malnourished during the latest survey available and the interventions taken thereof?
So the number of the malnutrition children in that age, that exact number is not there with me right now, sir. I will require notice. But as I said, sir, this aspect we are monitoring on a regular basis, and we are ensuring that the numbers will come down. But as I said, sir, if you look at the NHFS data, the numbers have now come down to 36.8%. So if I do the calculations with that, based on the total number of children from 0 to 6, which is approximately 3.3 lakhs. So with that so there's about 70,000 is the number I'm getting, but I don't want to go with that number right now. I would like to give actual factual numbers to the House. It would be incorrect for me to give a guess number based on the percentage and the total numbers that are with me. I don't want to go into calculations, but as I said, I will lay it on the table of the House with all the details. But as I said, so the positive news is that the number is decreasing, and the average decrease that we are seeing in Meghalaya is higher than the national decrease, though we are still above the national average. We are very sure, sir, within the next maybe couple of years, we should be able to go down below the national average, sir.
Yes, please. Dr. Mukesh.
Mr. Speaker, sir, now this is an issue which still remains as a challenge confronting all of us. I would like to be very specific to my concern, which I would like to bring to the notice of the government and then get the necessary response thereof. Now, I visited a number of times the hospital, the CHCs, PHCs, and every time we see the mothers who were admitted in the hospital, almost more than 70% of the mothers were found to be anemic, particularly in East Garois. So I had a consultation with the doctors, and then the response was that this is usual in East Garois. Usual. Unusual is being referred to as usual. So therefore, I think there is an urgent need, because as we all know, the plant nutrition of the mother plant will determine the health of the fruit. So stunted growth and other things are connected with the health of the mother, nutritional level of the mother, and particularly the level of anemia in East Garois of the mothers. It's alarmingly very, I must say, high. The hemoglobin levels are around 6, 7, 6, 7. That's a fact. And every time when we have this problem, we have to refer the patient outside for blood transfusion, etc., etc. And this is a real pertinent problem we are confronted by. Somehow or other, it's abnormally high in East Garois. So may I, therefore, since we have the whole program supporting all aspects of nutrition of both pregnant mother and the children, see that at least a special focus is probably worked out, strategized to look at this angle and specifically have a complete survey done in respect of East Garois pertaining to the health of the mothers.
Sir, I would like to thank the Honorable LO for this very important point he has mentioned. And sir, the House will be happy to know that in the last 7 years, we have created a tracking system where all the pregnant mothers are tracked through an online system. And this is real time, sir. And each of the mothers, their identity, of course, is kept anonymous, secret. But we know where the mothers are and what the reference is. And we ensure that, sir, we then identify each of the mothers who are high-risk mothers. And most of the high-risk mothers are the anemic mothers, sir. And therefore, not just for East Garo Hills, sir, we have a full spectrum for the entire state, sir. So even real time, right now, sir, in this house, we can go down. I could have shown it on the screen also. It's a beautiful software. It's an online, and there is no, there is obviously the access is there. And you can go into all the details, sir. So the point, sir, is that we are monitoring all the high-risk mothers. And based on our assessment, approximately about 10% to 15% of the mothers are high-risk mothers at any given time, sir. And based on this data, we ensure that we go with very, very specific interventions, and more importantly, sir, whether it's nutrition-based interventions or even the medical care that needs to be given, we go into all of this aspect and ensure that the mothers who are high risk, We take them and put them in safe motherhood houses, sir. There are transit homes where we pay the mother for staying there for 15, 20 days before delivery so that the care can be given to them at that point. And these 15% of the high-risk mothers, mostly anemic mothers, we ensure that we are providing them more additional nutrition to counter these kind of challenges, sir. So therefore, this is being done, sir, but I take the suggestions given by Honorable MLA, whose constituency also is in East Karo Hills, and therefore I will, sir, personally also look into this aspect. We can do a special study, as mentioned by the Honorable LO, who is obviously a doctor himself, so we will have all the data. So we will ensure that we go into that aspect. I think it'll be good for the mothers, because this again, sir, was one of the first missions that we started. And so the House will be happy to know that today, because of the interventions and very, very specific interventions that we have done based on data input that we're getting and the monitoring we're doing, so today the maternal mortality rate has come down by 55% in the country, sir. This is in the states, sir. And this is the highest drop that has happened anywhere in the country. And this is because of specific interventions that we're doing. But as I said, we need more guidance, we need more support, we need more action, sir. And as I said, for us, we are not happy with 55% increase. We don't want a single mother to lose a life when the mother is bringing a life into this world, sir. That is the motto that we have. And that's the motto with which we are working today, sir. So let me assure the House, we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that all the possible care. It is complicated, it takes time, it's not easy, sir. But we will do our very best, because this is something that we are all very, very concerned, very passionate and deeply concerned about this issue, sir. And let me assure the House and the Honorable LO that we will leave no stone unturned, as I said, and I will do a special audit and a special care for the East Karo Hills district and go into details. Thank you, sir.